Om Shanti. Now, today, Baba in the Murli says that you should devise ways to remember me. So, let's read a little of the Murli. Baba says, sweet children, create different methods for remembering the Father. Make effort and keep your chart. Chart means an account of how much you remember the Father. Don't become tired. Remain unshakable in storms. Now, why is remembrance so important? We will first understand that. So, in bhakti also, randomly, we were always told, Bhagwan ko yaad karo. Yes, remember God. So, we are always told, remember God. And I will tell you about this. Today, Baba is talking about remembering Baba while you're eating your food. So, I will tell you about the story behind upvas or fasting. So, we all observe fast. So, in bhakti, we did that. And what is a fast and what is the story behind that fast? We will first understand that, and then it will help us put into context what Baba is saying today. Now, in bhakti, it is said that there was this sannyasi, and he went to a businessman who was running a shop. And he went there, and this businessman offered him to have lunch with him. So he said, why don't you come and have lunch with us today? So the sannyasi agreed, and then he went over to that person's place for lunch. And while he was having food there, he asked this businessman, do you remember God? Then this person said, no, I don't, because I don't have time. And he said that this is why I choose to earn good karma or punya by doing these actions like feeding you or doing some charity work sometime, because I don't have the time to remember God. So then this sannyasi said, do you eat food? He said, yes. So how many times a day? So he said 3 times. And he asked, how much time does it take to have one meal? So he said, well, right from washing hands to, keeping away the plates and everything. So he said, approximately half an hour. So he said, okay. So what you do is, in 1 week, once in a week, you don't take one meal. And in that half an hour, remember God. Okay, and then you use that time because you don't have time. So you give up your meal, and for that half an hour, you use that time to remember God. And this is how this thing started, fasting. Now, fasting in Hindi is called upvas. Upvas means nikatvas, staying close. So, not having food for, not having one meal and remembering God or staying close to God in that half an hour was the idea. But now, the context had changed totally, and these days people keep fast, and then they all the time they are thinking about food and that they shouldn't eat and what they shouldn't eat and how they shouldn't eat. And then it's also about when they break the fast, what to eat. So it's all about food. It's not about remembrance anymore. So why I told you this story is because even in bhakti, a lot of importance has been attached to remembrance. But Baba says that in bhakti, you cannot remember God because you cannot remember somebody you don't know. And even if you remember somebody you don't know, you will be remembering your idea of them, not them. Okay, and if you remember your idea of them, then you will be connected with your idea. And when you're connected with your idea, how it impacts you will depend on the quality of your idea of them. Okay, but if you know somebody as they are, then and you have the truth about them and you remember that truth, then that truth will impact you. And the law says you become like the one you remember. So there is a lot of importance attached to remembrance, because if you remember God, you will become like Him. That's how it's supposed to be. That's why Baba says, if you remember me, you will become a deity, which is the closest a human can be to me. But the thing is, we tried to remember God, we suggested others that you remember God, but nobody could remember God because you can't remember somebody you don't know. And then Baba comes in Sangam Yog, sits in the body of Brahma Baba, and Shiv Baba tells us that I am a point of light. So Baba tells us 5 things: name, form, address, name, form, address, occupation, and relationship. Okay, I've repeated this many times, and today also I will do this. So first he tells his name. He says, you have called me Ishwar, Bhagwan, God, Allah, whatever. I am Shiv Baba. Okay, my name is Shiva. And then he says, my form is not the Shankar form you have attached to me. I am a point of light. I am a star of light just like you. And then he says, I am the ocean. Ocean of knowledge, ocean of purity, love, power, everything. And my love, my purity, my power doesn't depend on you. I am an ocean. So an ocean is always overflowing, and anybody has the chance to bathe in the ocean. Okay, so an ocean doesn't withdraw its benefit from anybody. So an ocean doesn't deny entry. So Baba says, don't think that you need eligibility to bathe in me. You are always welcome. I am the ocean. So whether you are pure or impure, whether you are good or bad, doesn't matter. I am the ocean. I am always there for you. Okay, so Baba says, this is my quality, and I am the ocean of knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss, and power. And you have to be a little creative in this, because you see, when you go to the sun, so when you sit under the sun, you know what warmth feels like, right? When you go to, when you know how the 5 elements of nature feel like. You go to a garden, you know how beauty feels like. You know, you enter an ocean, you know how the feel of water is. So you know how they feel. So physical feelings we know. And these days, you know, there is education about emotions also. So you go to a psychologist, they give you a chart of how happy, sad, and a variety of emotions feel like, which we don't feel these days. But Baba says you don't have to feel emotions, because emotions are creations of the body conscious world. What you have to feel is feelings. Feelings and emotions are different. Feelings come from our acquired sanskars: lust, anger, ego, attachment, and greed. So pleasure is in, I told the opposite. Feelings come from 7 qualities, and emotions come from the lust, anger, ego, attachment, and greed. So you see that pleasure is an emotion. So pleasure comes from lust, anger, ego, attachment, and greed. Okay, it's not happiness. Happiness is a feeling. You don't need anything to feel happy. You need to go within to feel happy. Yes, you need to go to Baba to feel happy. So happiness is what you emerge. So there are 7 qualities of the soul: knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss, and power. Baba says these feelings are original to you. They are in your basic design. You have to tap into them. Okay, and emotions you cannot feel by tapping into them. You feel sad when something happens. You can feel, what do you say? You can feel angry when something happens. You can feel pleasure when something happens. Without an ice cream, you can't feel pleasure. Without a holiday, you can't feel pleasure. But Baba says feelings are different. You don't need anything to feel peaceful or happy or contented or knowledgeful or peaceful, blissful. These are things you can feel by tapping into yourself and connecting with Baba. So Baba says that I am the ocean, and you have to understand, just like you understand how emotions feel, you have to start understanding how feelings feel. Okay, so when you sit under the ocean of love, how would that light of love feel? You have to be creative about that. Yes, it wouldn't feel like a hug. A hug is a very physical thing. Yes, it would feel like love. And what is love? Love is something that makes you feel accepted, belonged, cared for, protected, and then also detached. So it doesn't make you attached. It's not like you want to just cling on to Baba. When you experience true love, you want to be loveful to others, you want to give. You don't just want to attach to the source of love. So true love is liberating, it's not captivating. So Baba says you have to understand how I am, and Baba has come from the soul world and is giving us the Murli every day, so that and what is the Murli? We have to understand very well. The Murli is the mind of God. So it's the doorway through which you can enter God's world, which is your world basically, which we are connected with. And when we understand the Murli, we will get an insight into what knowledge means, what peace means, what purity means, what love means, true love. So we have copied these names. We use this word peace, we use this word love, but we don't know what it means anymore because we are not connected with that true feeling. So these days, when you say there is a lot of peace here, it basically means that it is silent. But peace and sound are not related. It could be a lot of sound, but it could be very peaceful. So peace is something you experience when you connect with your peaceful state, with the soul world, with Baba. And that has got nothing to do with external sound. So if you see, Dadi Janki ji used to give classes and teachings all day she used to give classes, and lot of vacha seva, lot of talking. But then Dadi used to say that by talking I'm accumulating energy, not spending energy. So and there was an experiment done on Dadi where it was figured out that Dadi is always in the delta state. So a normal human being's brain is in delta state when they are in deep sleep. So Dadi's brain was always in delta state, because Dadi has left the mortal coil now. So Dadi's brain was always in delta state even while she was taking a class or doing some seva or eating food or cooking food. So that's the kind of peace we can have inside, even while doing the work. And how does this kind of a peace come when you realize that peace is not connected to external silence, and you tap into your original nature, which is peaceful. So you just know that I'm a dot sitting here and I'm peaceful. And you keep your attention, keep your connection with that internal peace while doing everything. Just try this today, experiment with this. So just take a 30-second break and know that you are this kind of a point of peace. And then while you're doing everything, just hold on to that inner state. Just know that I am a peaceful being doing this thing peacefully. And then you will see that even when you're doing something which requires effort and which requires energy, and it's done in an environment where there's noise and sound, you will be able to stay peaceful. And peace makes everything harmonious. So when you are peaceless, you are disconnected. You are not in harmony with your man buddhi sanskar, or your body, or the external surroundings, or your 5 sense organs. So you're seeing something, you miss something, you hear, you're doing something, you miss something that's going in front of your eyes. But in a peaceful state, you are totally in harmony. So everything is harmony, every sense organ, every internal organ, the environment, the people around you, you are in harmony with everyone and everything. So Baba says that is peace, and Baba gives us a window into all his qualities through his being, which is reflected in the Murli. So when you listen to the Murli, like you're listening to the mind of God, so when you get to know Baba, it's not like you're just listening to Murli, you get to know Baba. Just like when you talk to a person, you are talking to them, but you get to know them because their personality is reflected in their speech. So you speak as you are, right? So when Baba speaks, you get a window into who Baba is. Okay, and then you start understanding these qualities. You start understanding what true love is. You start understanding what true peace is. And when you go to the soul world and you sit in front of Baba, you are sitting in front of the ocean of peace, and you have to sit with your mind connected to that peace for some time. And then that peace becomes a part of you. Just like you sit in contact with water, that water becomes a part of you. It wets you. So you sit in front of that ocean of peace, you become an embodiment of peace. But you have to understand these qualities before you connect with them. And this is why knowledge is first and then is yoga. Because until and unless we understand what's peace, what's love, and what's purity, you cannot go and sit in front of the ocean of peace, love, purity and experience it. So Baba tells us this thing about him, what are his qualities, and you can go on and just figure out, make a list of what you have understood about peace, love, knowledge, purity, power, bliss, happiness from Baba, and just make a note of it. And when you sit in meditation, emerge that in front of you, that's Baba. So Baba is not a bulb light or laser light in front of whom you sit. He's an ocean of love, peace, happiness. It's just like you stand in front of a body, but you don't say I don't say I'm standing in front of a body. I say I'm standing in front of my father. So a father is not just a body, he's my father. Yes, I'm standing in front of this person who is very skillful. So when I stand in front of that person who is very skillful according to me, I can tap into his skillfulness. Yes, so Baba says the more you know me, the more you can connect with me and draw from me. And then Baba says, I tell you the address also. So where do you find me? When you take your mind away from this world and go to that world of peace, that world of light, that soul world, which everybody calls nirvana. So you mentally go there, and there I sit like the ocean, and you sit in front of me and draw what's there in me into you. And then Baba says that I have an occupation to do. So I'm here for a work, for a job, and that's to purify this world, make this Kalyug into Satyug. So Baba says, when you sit in front of me, you also know my purpose. So I also have a purpose. God has a purpose of creating Satyug when everything is dark and it's Kalyug. So Baba says, you also have a purpose. Don't forget that. Your purpose is the same as my purpose. And you see, for ages, the father's purpose was the child's purpose. Yes, the father was the carpenter, the child was born the carpenter. Father is a barber, the child is a barber. Why? Because this is how it goes. And it is not true about physical parents actually. It's actually true about our spiritual parent, Baba. But then we kind of transported it to physical world also. So Baba says, when you know my purpose and you sit in the awareness of my purpose, then you stop asking these questions, what is the purpose of my life? You know my purpose is the same as Baba's purpose. Yes, and Baba also comes, talks, interacts with children, does everything, but with the intention to create heaven on earth. We also have to do everything in the day, but with the intention to create heaven on earth. So we have to introduce that spiritual element in everything. Yes, you meet, you talk, you walk, everything you are doing with this intention that I have to create heaven on earth. So you keep, exuding that energy of peace, love while you do that. You are cooking food, fill that food with the vibrations that will change the buddhi of the person who eats it. It makes them think about what is their purpose of life. So this is it. And then Baba says, you also have to know the relationship. So I'm not some stranger. I'm not some, some extraterrestrial being who you don't know. I'm your father, mother, teacher, guide. So remember me with that love. Yes, don't sit in front of me blank. So when you meet your father like you meet your father. And he is your father. Otherwise, why would he come from the soul world and care for you? Nobody cares for you like he does. Yes, he has come. So just appreciate and acknowledge what he is doing for us. He has left his home of purity and peace and has come for me in this world to provide me with what I need. And only parents do that. So it's your spiritual father who is doing that. So Baba says, when you remember me and you remember me as I am, with this whole introduction, then you connect with me, the real me. And when you connect with the real me, you become like me. That's why remembrance has been so appreciated, and the importance of remembrance has been noted in every religion, everywhere. So prayer is the closest you had to remembrance, because when you don't know who Baba is, you could only pray. You could become a person who prays to God. So he became God, I became the Yachak, and we prayed. But Baba says, no, that's not our relationship. You are the child. You are the master of everything I have. So sit with that right in your buddhi, that Baba belongs to me and I belong to Baba. And whatever he has, I also have the same thing. So Baba says, when you sit in accurate remembrance, then the law of remembrance says you become like the one you remember, and you will actually become a deity. And then Baba says, this is why you should pay a lot of importance to remembrance. because this remembrance is going to change you from a human to a deity. So you should take it very seriously. And Baba says that in the Murli, Baba says very interestingly that the only thing you should be worried about is remembrance. So, when you're worried about something, your mind always goes to that. So, Baba says, the only thing you should be worried about is, I forgot Baba, now I have to sit in remembrance. So, as soon as you remember somebody else, you should be worried that, no, I have to remember Baba. But Baba says, Maya makes you worry about everything else except Baba. So, Maya makes you worry, and there is no reason to worry in the world. And in Hindi, Baba says something very interesting, Chinta taki kijiye jo anhoni hoye. So Baba says, you worry about something that was not supposed to happen and it happens. But Baba says, now you have the knowledge of drama and you know that only that is happening which is supposed to happen. It is a pre-scripted thing. So, the other day, there were two people in front of me, and one was watching a video. And the other person said, so the other person was actually watching the video with him with great curiosity. Okay, but suddenly this third person came in and he said, oh, this is scripted. Okay, this whole thing that you're watching is scripted. It's not news, it's scripted. So this person suddenly lost interest in it. And he said, oh, it's scripted. Okay, I'm not watching it. So I'm not interested. It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't do anything anymore because it's scripted. And just apply it to what Baba is saying. Baba says everything is scripted. This whole drama is scripted. So only that which is destined to happen is happening. So why are you creating so many emotions in the face of different scenes? Yes, so you don't create. So so if there is the mother of an actor and that actor is getting hurt on screen, then the mother will cry because her son is getting hurt, but she knows that it's on screen, but still she can't watch her son getting hurt on screen also because you are attached. And when you lose perspective, then these emotions come up. And Baba says, always stay in perspective that everything that's happening is scripted. But the interesting thing is, you are the spectator and the actor both at the same time. So suppose you are in a play, in a drama, and that drama is scripted, right? It's a pre-given script. But according to the script, you have to say your dialogues for the drama to move forward. Yes, so now you have to know that this whole drama is scripted and you don't have to get caught up in other people's roles. You have to stick to your lines because there is a performance you have to give in this drama also. Okay, so Baba says you have to stay detached and also perform. So detachment doesn't mean no action because you have a role to play. And when you are detached, you will play your role very well. Okay, just like if there is a stage and there are 10 dancers who have to dance in synchronicity with each other, and one of them starts seeing another one who is failing at the steps they've been given, then they will forget their steps which they remembered. Yes, so Baba says, don't do that. You stick to your lines. You stick to your thing that you have to do. Yes, there is a scene of loss. There is a scene of fear. You don't get caught up in the scene because you know it's scripted, but you do your thing which it's needed to do in that scene. Yes, there is an alarm, there is something tragic which people are expecting. So you are the child of God, you are getting the knowledge from Baba. So do what you can in your powerful, peaceful, knowledgeful state and contribute to that scene. But if you get caught up in the scene, you forget to play your role, and that's where the problem lies. Okay, so this is what Baba is saying. Now there are many questions, so let's take up questions first and then we'll continue. So please suggest why the word Shiva is chosen. Yes, because Shiva means three things literally: a dot, a seed, and the benefactor, Kalyankari. So this is why Baba says, I am not Shiva by default, I am Shiva because it denotes what I am. I am a dot, I am a seed, and I am Kalyankari. I am the only one who is always the benefactor. Okay. Okay. Now, second question is, if everything is scripted, then what is the value of hard work and commitment? Yes, that's what you're supposed to do, because that's also in the script. See, there are many souls, you give them 100 motivational lectures on hard work and they sit and relax, and before that, during that, and after that. Why? Because that's not in the script. And you get a lecture about everything is scripted and you worry about hard work. Why? Because that's your script. Okay, so that's your script. So you understand it's scripted, you understand that everybody is doing what they need to do, and then you stick to your role in the script, which is hard work and commitment. You don't lose your quality, because if you lose your quality, you will stop being you, and that's the most difficult part. Okay? Okay. Create your own destiny means stick to your role. Don't lose sight of your role in the face of getting caught up in other people's roles. That's creating your destiny. You are creating the destiny or recreating the destiny which you're predestined, which is predestined, but you can only create it well when you don't get caught up in the side scenes. Okay, that's the thing. Okay. What if someone else is attached to us? You wouldn't ask this question if you were not attached to them, because you can only figure out attachment when you are attached. Yes, if there is a celebrity and there are millions of people attached to them, that celebrity doesn't take into account all their attachments, because they only take into account those who they are attached back to. So you have an attachment, you have a sanskar of attachment, and that is making you ask that question. And when you are not attached, and the opposite of attachment is not detachment, it is love. So when you are completely loveful, that is, you care, you belong, you do what is necessary, but you are not emotional, because you know that everything will meet ups and downs and it's okay according to the script. So when you are in that place, then you will not worry about other people's attachment. Other people's attachment will be their problem, not yours. Okay, and they will sooner or later figure out how to deal with their problem. Because if you are attached back to them, then you are taking burden of part of their problem, and so they are waiting that you will solve it together with them. But once you clear your thing, they will figure out how they have to solve it with them and with themselves and with Baba. So everybody has a journey, so you don't worry about anybody's attachment. Okay, so, and the only thing you worry because you are also attached. That's the thing. So deal with yours. Fine. So this is what Baba says today. And then Baba in the Murli today says that you should know how to bow down. Now what is bowing down in? And Baba says bowing down in thoughts and sanskars. So what is bowing down in thoughts and sanskars? Jhukna, sanskars and thoughts mein jhukna. So that means that you leave this language that only my sanskar is right and only my thought is right. Okay, because just like, in a script, everybody has a role. So in this world drama also, everybody has a role to play, and according to them, they are right. And you don't have to give in to what they are saying. You just have to acknowledge mentally that what they are saying is right according to them. And then you will be in a space where you will find the middle path. Let's understand this. So there is this sister who comes to the center, and one day she was attending one of the murlis, and then in that murli Baba was saying that, leave this ego of I am right, or similar to what Baba is saying today. And then this sister said in the class, Didi, you know that I and my husband had a debate or an argument before I left for Murli. And he wanted to go with one decision over something, and I wanted to go over something else. And then he said that you don't know anything about the world, so you keep quiet. And then I said, oh, you know everything, that's why you're handling the family so well. Okay, so then we stopped at that, and then I came for Murli. And then she said, now Baba is saying you say that you are right first. So I said, just take a himmat ka kadam, so a step of courage. You just mentally drop that thing and just in your mind say that probably he's right. Okay, just say this. And I said, keep saying this until you are in a place where when you reach home, you will be able to tell him when he opens the door that maybe you are also right, let's discuss it. So she said, okay. And then she went home, and when the husband opened the door, he said, I thought hard and I think you might also be correct. And she said, you know what, I was coming to tell you the same thing. And then they sat properly, and then they communicated, and they reached a solution which was somewhere in the middle. So Baba says that this is how it goes. You say I am right, the only I am right, the other person will also say only I am right. And then you are in a place where there is no communication and no solution. And when you understand, when you drop your ego about your thought and your sanskar, my way is right and my thought is right. When you drop that, then you will come to a place where the other person will also be able to drop part of the ego. And then you will come to a solution through communication. And in my journey in spirituality, and also from the experience I have heard from people who are in conflict resolution. So, there are people who do this thing, conflict resolution, for governments, for organizations, and then they tell us that all solutions are always arrived at through communication. So there is only one way to arrive at a solution, which is communication. And the basis of communication is mutual respect. And if you sit respectfully with somebody, there is no problem on earth which cannot be arrived at a solution for. So Baba says, when you just let go of this ego that I am right, then you arrive at the solution. Okay, Om Shanti.